Teachers, so I've gotten a few questions regarding the video assignment, and so I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking through that assignment and try to clear up any questions you might have. I'm actually just going to go into the assignment itself and address some of the questions that I've gotten using the assignment. So there isn't any gotchas or catchas or anything like that. So we've already established that you were to record 2 to 3 classes with the same group of students, or let's say content area. It doesn't have to necessarily be the same group of students. I don't necessarily care about that, but it needs to be like if you're teaching Algebra 1, it needs to be Algebra 1. It can't be Algebra 1 then geometry, right? So because you were to develop out a unit of instruction, and so the videos then is demonstrating or showing 2 to 3 of those lessons. So that's the first thing is, yes, it needs to be all in the same thing that you've been working on really almost the entire course. So, so you are going to be in 10 to 20 minutes, and I'm assuming most of you are going to be closer to 20, which is perfectly fine. You're going to show me this. You're going to show me a learning target. It doesn't have to be 2 learning targets, right? It's 1 learning target. So I don't need to have both learning targets or 3. If you videotape 3 lessons, it's 1 learning target, 1 hook, and then direct instruction and modeling. So and guided practice. That's the big idea of the video. So when I'm looking at your 20 minutes, I want to see 1 clearly written learning goal with a measurable outcome written from the student's point of view that translates the standard into kid-friendly language. 1 of those. I need to see the hook that corresponds with that learning target. And then direct instruction and modeling. So it says clearly and systematically detailed explanation of how the activity is aligned to the target will be explained or modeled, right? So there's some explanation that's given, or you're showing, you're demonstrating, and then guide and practice. Systematic directions for student practice are explained with specific ideas for how feedback will be given for various performance levels. So so you're going to be teaching, and then you're going to cut some of of course some of your video out, and then I'm going to be able to see all these components in a 20-minute video. And then the video quality itself has to be set up in a way that I can actually see and hear. I'm perfectly fine looking at the backs of students. I know that they're there. And you don't have to do any kind of crazy like pano or anything like that. Like it's not a video class. It's just so I can see and hear and almost be a fly in the room there. So, and all of that happens within that 10 to 20 minute time frame. So if I add up all of that, it's like 105 points. That's part 1. And then the part 2 is that you are doing a reflection, which is for 25 points. And you're basically telling me things that I didn't see behind, that I couldn't know from watching the video. So like what's going on behind the curtain. And it's perfectly fine if, like, yeah, I thought I was going to have this kind of response and I didn't. I'm not, I'm as a real teacher, right? Like I ask a question sometimes and no hands went up. I'm like, oh, brother, right? But that's the reality of our teaching. And so how did you make adjustments to that and things of that nature? So the reflections is all listed here as well. So a video, following the rubric, and then a reflection. And if it helps you to upload your lesson plan too, so I can follow along, that's fine. It's not required. So that's that. In terms of uploading your video to the system, a question was asked about how these are the instructions. And then you want to choose unlisted. If you choose private as the setting, I won't be able to view it. So here's what I'd also suggest. I provided you guys the email addresses to all the colleagues in the class. After you get done recording your video and you think you're ready, it's ready to go, I highly suggest, you post it, get it uploaded, and then share it with a colleague in class and say, hey, would you mind taking a look see at this and giving me some feedback? First of all, can you see the video? Second, do you think I hit all the components of the rubric? The peer process is not required, absolutely not required, but a peer process tends to make us better, right? That's why we use it so much. So you do not have to do that, but I highly encourage you to do that because you don't want me coming back and saying, hi, yeah, I can't see anything, right? That's no good. So yeah, that's what I would recommend you doing. All right. And then the last thing, so that's really all. Like, there's nothing, again, I'm not looking to fool you up or cause any problems. I would say if you have specific questions that you need me to address, don't put it in the muddiest point. I don't see those. If you have a burning question that I haven't answered or is just not clear from the instructions, email me directly. And then the last thing we've got is the last assignment. I addressed this last week a little bit, but again, if you're having trouble with the Google Classroom component, I'm gonna assume if you're in a classroom, you've been teaching, you're using Google Classroom or some sort of learning management system. And so you don't need to prove it to me that, yeah, you can set this up in a Google Classroom. However, I need to be I need to be able to interact as though I was in a Google Classroom. So if you are able to replicate that in a Google Doc that, basically is like, oh yeah, step one, here, students, you need to go do this. And it then takes me to some interactive app or something like that. And then there's some assessment going through it. That's what I want to see that, right? I want to experience it just like I was in a Google Classroom, but it doesn't have to be in a Google Classroom. So, and same thing applies, follow the rubric. This is what I use to grade you. And yeah, I mean, I will pull up your information and I literally have that rubric out with me in grading it. So hopefully that helps you. Again, if you have burning questions that you need more assistance with, please email me directly. And if not, good luck and use each other and grow from each other, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a wonderful evening, teachers.